Welcome back to Two Dads in a Pod. Where are all the cameras? I'm using one of my old cameras, my current phone, and my iPad Pro. So hopefully people will be able to see us.
Yep.
I don't know if it's looking at me or not. So I might try to get a third. Either use the iPad back over here and use it as a switcher, and then get a third camera, unless you want to download on your phone. Because technically, all you need is the app
Phone, right.
and share the screen.
Or
share the camera.
Then I could. Well, I don't know if my phone is completely like a new phone.
What kind of phone you got?
I don't know, like an 8, I think, a 7 or an 8.
It should be fine. As long as it's updated.
I don't really care.
As long as it's updated to like 14. I ordered
Yeah.
the new one because Crystal needs a new phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just give you mine. I'll order the new one. I'll take one for the team.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get about like 20 minutes today because I spent too much time setting up the camera, but I think it's gonna be good practice.
I think so too. It'll be good.
So, what do we talk about? 20 minutes. I was trying to think about things to talk about before we got here.
Yeah.
Obviously, last minute, I'm really good at last minute stuff, but
I prepare like about a week in advance at least.
I had ideas before, and I just kept forgetting because life just keeps happening and happening. And you get more ideas in your head.
What's great about this project that we do is that, like, as time goes on, there's gonna be more things that come up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
we should have like a jar, and every time we have an idea, just write it down as we're talking, and there's just later on pick it up. Yeah.
Or just have a notes thing, and then you'll just throw it in there.
Yeah.
But usually something currently happens that kind of oversees like what we were previously thinking of talking about.
Yeah.
And like for people who don't know, me and Miguel don't have like a storyboard or anything. We don't practice beforehand. We literally the reactions you get from us are
they're
actual,
genuine. They're real. They're not reenactments.
No, yeah, no.
We try. We try to reenact our silly childhood.
Yeah, when we forget to record something, yeah. But
yeah, it's plugged in. USB's plugged in, so we got audio. We got.
But
video.
for the most part, yeah, no. We both take it upon ourselves to think of a topic to talk about, and as soon as we get in, we find the right time to throw it in there, and that's when we start.
So yesterday I sent you a video. These two kids saw each other across the aisle from
At a grocery store.
At a grocery store, and then started doing like Naruto stuff.
Oh yeah.
I remember we used to do like the whole like.
Oh, we did the Shadow Clone.
Yeah, we did Shadow Clone. That was a popular one.
Yeah. We did that.
Jutsu,
It's actually when we started talking, which is that
summer school.
Yeah. Summer school. Yeah.
Little did we know we were nerds.
No, we knew. We just tried to hide it.
Yeah, and then I don't know if one of us was doing it, like, because I still walk theaters, and I'll be like walking around the corner, I'm like,
I actually did that yesterday in the car, but nobody's knows that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess everybody knows that now.
Be like, oh yeah, doing the Crip side. I'm like, no,
no,
it's
it's Fireball Jutsu here.
So it might be tough now to try to like see a connection similar to that, but. Do your kids have friends that they see, or have you noticed them do the same thing? Like, hey, that kid has the same shirt I do, or hey, that kid.
Well, because recent years with COVID and stuff.
Yeah, it's been tough to socialize.
My kids not so much. My daughter maybe because she's in school and she'll be like, "Hey, I saw this friend. I had a Dragon Ball Z backpack or something." She knows I'm all into it. I can admit that I kind of got her into anime.
Yeah.
I was little. I was buying box sets. I was watching Dragon Ball, and she's all into Studio Ghibli stuff too. So she's kind of getting into the whole anime feel about it. But my other kids are a little they're a little too small. So
yeah.
I have not yet come to that. Even though my daughter's in 5th grade, she's changed schools like 3 times already. So
is it because where you lived or?
The first time we took her to Georgia Brown, which is the dual immersion. So we want to do English and Spanish. That didn't really go well for kindergarten. So then we moved her to Pat Butler, and then me and my wife, our family, we moved closer in town, and then Lexi's mom got a job at Regina Peterson, that school. So we said, hey, it might just be easier for her to move at that point.
Carpool.
No. I mean, I live like down the street from that school,
Okay.
so it's easier. And her mom works there now, so it's pick up, drop off, all that stuff is just so much easier. And Lexi wanted to go too.
Yeah.
And that was also the same school that me and her mom went when we were in elementary school. So we thought it'd be kind of cool that she gets to be in the same school that we grew up in, kind of thing. Schools.
Yeah, if you look in that tree over there. You know.
Not until high school. Not until we get there. It's probably. I remember that spot. Yeah.
Look under that rock next to that tree. There's weed. I'm just kidding. We didn't do weed in high school.
No, I didn't.
I definitely didn't. After high school.
That's a different story.
Somebody offered. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. I'll be hip.
Speaking of weed, well, not really speaking of weed, but
quick shout out to
no, actually, quick shout out to my mom.
Snoop Dogg. Oh yeah, she's gonna watch it.
So get this. She just recently learned about this podcast.
Yeah,
and my brother told her about it, and she binged like the 5 episodes that we had. Mm-hmm. She listened to them all at work, and it helped her like throughout her day, and she was like really happy about it. So
that's funny.
So now she's gonna. I'm not gonna change anything. She's gonna listen to us. A quick shout out to her. Thanks for the support.
Yeah. Fortunately, my mom doesn't listen to podcasts.
I didn't even know my mom knew about podcasts.
Yeah, I think podcasts is gonna be a much bigger thing than a lot of people think.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I saw I didn't read the article. I'm not a big fan of reading articles. I just headline read.
Skim them.
I just like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, they try to clickbait me, but I'm like, nah, I'll just read the title. But it was talking about how a little bit about YouTube, how they started, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't think it was going to be a household name or something along those lines, or at least they didn't at first. That was their goal, kind of thing. And now it's like YouTube is like one of the top 2 like search engines.
Oh yeah.
Like if you go look at, you can Google it, or you can go on YouTube, which surprisingly are both owned by Google or Alphabet, whatever. And so I think at some point, it's going to catch up to the older generations, where they'll be listening, kind of like how they used to listen to like radio, Bob and Tom show in the morning, whatever, or something like that. At some point, they're going to like find out, los bookies están en los bookies están en el podcast. I'm just trying to butcher that accent.
Los
bookies.
Los bookies. They kept houses clean though.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I don't know if we talked about it here, but I know the other day, Steve from Blue's Clues shared a video on Facebook or on social media. It was
just everywhere.
Everywhere, he was saying how proud he was at everybody, and he's just I was like.
No, there's so many positive reactions to that. I was surprised with how many people actually grew up with Blue's Clues because, I know I didn't tell my friends I watched Blue's Clues. That was like
nobody
that
told
been
each
torture.
other to watch
No,
Blue's Clues.
that would have been torture. But now we're like, oh yeah,
proud,
Blues.
Blues. You know, I found
Steve was my boy.
Yeah, Steve. Joe. I'm kidding. Joe's cool too. I didn't watch Joe though.
I didn't watch Joe.
After Steve left, I was like, who is this guy? So this is my brother, or cousin.
It was his cousin.
No, I thought it was brother, because I know Josh's cousin.
No, it was his brother.
Yeah,
it was his brother.
It's like, hey, can you help my brother? Like, can you help me? And and he went off to college or whatever, because he was balding or because of drug issues. Like there were so many theories.
That was the theory.
I know there were so many. There's so many. He went to the military.
Oh man, there's so many. That was before the internet when just all search everything.
It was all word of mouth kind of thing.
Yeah, the real thing was because he was balding.
But I posted something on my Instagram story. It was like, hear me out. You know how podcasts are becoming a big thing. What if Steve, Joe, and Josh stayed in character and did a podcast? Can you imagine, them talking about Blue, and you just hear Blue in the background? It's like behind the clues.
It wouldn't, because if it was just them playing themselves, they would just be asking Blue the whole time, where's the next clue?
Yeah. But then they'll be talking about topics or something, you know?
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, they always get guest videos or whatever. You got
right.
mail. Yeah. Which, by the way, they changed the melody a little bit on that one, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'll let it slide. Because Steve is being more of a part
Oh, is
again.
he?
Yeah, they're
Oh,
bringing him
that's
back. There's
awesome.
like I see more and more videos of him like being back, but
Because they, you know what, the creators know
yeah.
who they're trying,
Because
their target audience.
now, not only do they have like the kids, but they have like the millennials
Yeah,
watching
exactly.
with
Kids.
their own kids.
Or keep watching after the kids are done with it. You're like, nah, let me finish out this.
Unless you're a
episode real quick.
millennial that doesn't have kids and never stopped watching, you need help a little bit.
I mean,
No judgment though.
no judgment. Blue's Clues is pretty badass.
Yeah, Blue's Clues, but
You know, I guess while we're on the topic about switching with past generations and stuff, last week I finally got to go out to watch a movie with my friend. I don't really get to go out much.
you got a hall pass.
No, I was just like, hey, I want to watch the new Marvel movie. And
Yeah.
like, all right, you can go watch.
Shang-Chi.
I did.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Really great movie. So,
In theaters now.
so my friend brought his stepdaughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a freshman in high school. And afterwards, we went out to get something to eat, and me and my friend just started talking about our times in high school and middle school, because apparently she went to the same middle school that we did.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, setting the stage for things wasn't really that hard, because we'd be like, hey, remember that area? And she,
Yeah.
yeah, you know. So we started trading off stories, and we're having our laughs. We don't really get to see each other as much either, so we're doing that. And I finally said to her, I was like, what about you? What things happen in your days? What's going on? You know, what, you have any similar stories like that with us? And she started sharing one where she said, she's like, oh yeah, there was that one time when our teacher almost stabbed our principal. And I'm like,
The fuck?
yeah, I was like, holy shit, I really got to listen to this story. Like, what, okay, so tell me what happened. And she's like, well, you know, lockdown drills, right? And I said,
I've heard of them.
I was like, no. I was like, maybe, yeah. I remember seeing something about them. She's like, yeah, it's when, you know, active shooter and all that other stuff. And I was like, oh, I know. I was like, look, we had earthquake drills.
Yeah.
We didn't have lockdown
It's like
drills.
it's like earthquake stopped.
Yeah, exactly right. We had earthquake drills and we had fire drills like a quarter. Fire drills never stop because
To
everybody
practice,
has
yeah.
But earthquake drills, you know, we had those because we live in California.
And yeah.
We live on a fault line here in Paso Robles.
Yeah, but people are going crazy, so now they have to have
Yeah, so that's
lockdown.
so
drills.
that so
or
that
more lockdown
I
drills
gotta
at
hear
least.
my mouth. So that was kind of immediately. I was kind of. I mean, and my daughter has been in school since they've done lockdown drills, but for me, I guess kind of like you said, I was just reading it as a headline and just I was like, oh, I guess that's just what it is, right? And I didn't really think much of it. And I mean, in the 90s we had earthquakes here in California, so it's kind of like the sign of the time that we're living in.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, did earthquakes just like stopped happening? I mean, they're still happening.
But they
little rumbles here and there, but nothing like.
I guess unless they're saying that, oh, it just all kind of culminates into one thing.
Yeah.
Like you still kind of have your access points and all that other stuff. Because I mean, like if you think about the Cold War, they had bomb drills.
Oh yeah.
You know,
They had a lot of bomb
which we
drills.
don't do that anymore. But that was because they were scared that
It was silly. There's an atomic bomb heading out. Possible atomic. Let's practice
duck.
hiding under the desk
Yeah. Better hope you're not in ground zero, or else you're gonna be a stain on the wall.
or a shadow on the ground.
Yeah, there you go.
I know it's crazy.
But I mean, yeah, to us it sounds silly. But
Yeah.
during that time they were living in it, it was probably
Yeah.
scary as hell, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure kids probably didn't take it seriously because when you're
Oh,
little, you just
We
kind of
hung out.
yeah.
You know.
Earthquake drills. I remember I was like, oh, this means we get to miss a little bit of school.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
So she was telling us about like how it happened,
Mm-hmm.
and she was saying it's during lockdown drill. They go and they shake your door, like I guess. You're
Oh,
supposed to
somebody
keep it
walks around.
Yeah,
And knocks and
knocks or like shakes the
Can you
door.
imagine? Hey, how's it going? Like, oh, God, don't open the door.
Yeah,
That's the whole
so-
point.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, how did this happen? And she's like, well, the principal didn't tell anybody. I was like, nobody? She's like, yeah, they're not supposed to tell anybody because that's how prepared and ready you're supposed to be. And I was like, well, okay, I understand not telling the kids, but not even the teachers? She's like, no, they didn't tell the teachers.
That's fucked up.
So,
I mean,
well, I mean, I understand preparedness, but somebody's going to get fucking stabbed, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, so she said that shook the door and the teacher, like, sprung into action. There was obviously no flight in this teacher. There was fight for this teacher. Yeah. She said there was a pair of scissors, I think, near the door. She grabbed them and she was holding the door about ready to shank somebody.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
An accident stabbing.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been an accident stabbing
Shit.
because the principal didn't tell anybody.
Oh.
So
you know, the principal probably thought he was like so smart, or either somebody thought they were smart. Like, hey, don't tell the teachers. You're the only person who knows. I need you to run this drill.
But I mean, that teacher should probably win Teacher of the Year because you know she was an OG and she would have.
She broke the scissors and like threw them at shurikens. I've had two. What the fuck? It's a good thing we got video
Substitution juice. Yeah, I know, right? But
so an accident stabbing.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
So I mean, it didn't happen, but that was like
almost
the talk. You know, it was like
okay. So so she says it almost happened. That almost stabbing during a drill is what the kids are talking about.
Right.
What the teachers are probably talking about was like, oh yeah, grab the scissors just in case.
I don't know. I think she was maybe, but I think how she said she was ready to open the door and just wouldn't even look. She would just like enough of a crack where she.
I thought you weren't supposed to open the door during those kind of drills. Or during those kind of situations.
I don't remember.
Until the all clear comes in.
At this point, I might be telling it a little wrong but yeah.
She's like, I can either wait here until you come break through that door or stab the motherfucker. I'm like, oh shit. Like,
but that's, which brings to.
She got gangster.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And that's, you would want some of that, but I mean.
Can you imagine she like rips off her sleeve and you see like tattoos of like all her kills?
Not again.
She's having flashbacks. Yeah. Like my gang died that last time. But you all my gang. Like she looks at her kids.
And on top of that,
I don't know who this teacher is.
I don't know who this teacher is, but shout out to that teacher, whoever. Yeah. Anyway,
good job.
But another story that she was telling us was that the class that she was in, her teacher basically had like a mental breakdown, and like she quit. She announced to the class. She announced to the class, classes like yours are the reason why I'm quitting teaching. And I was like, oh damn, wow, but like she's had enough.
Yeah.
And at that point, me and my friend are like, we have a couple chuckles, and we're like, man, we had some bad classes, but none of that ever happened.
Yeah.
Now, this could be our old man syndrome of like, what's wrong with kids these days kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. Right? The next generation is always like.
We're always like, but one thing my friend said is, were we ever that bad? Like, how is it, you know? And I was like, well, it's not that we weren't. It's that we didn't have cameras back then. Like,
yeah.
You know, and
there was camera, but there was grainy and.
Not until for us, not until high school.
Until high school. Because what middle school and elementary school, what are the kids going to do, you know?
Well, I don't know that. At this point, you make a social media account and you're doing anything for the likes, or you do anything behind the camera and you act differently.
Yeah, people, people act differently when they're on camera.
Exactly, all the time.
You know, they start, putting away the drugs. And we don't do drugs here, I swear. Every time we do that, it's just because it's too early in the morning. There's no bumps going on. There's no bumps in the night.
Not when you have kids.
Not when you have kids. Not anymore. That's Shout out to your mom.
She's going to listen to this one too.
Mrs. Lopez, I'm sorry. Your kid never did drugs. Look at the YouTube video.
My gym face,
Just.
I mean, I don't know that. And one thing I did after that conversation with them is I went home, and the reason why I never really thought of asking my daughter was because she's still a kid.
Yeah.
To her, that's what she was introduced to, so it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's just what they do. Exactly how we did with an earthquake drill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, we get to miss school. There was no my daughter's in 5th grade. I went home and I asked her, I was like, hey, you guys got earthquake drills? And she looked at me and she said, earthquake drills?
Is that when the earth shakes?
And I was like, okay, so obviously not. I was like, you guys have fire drills, right? She's like, yeah, we still have fire drills. I'm like, I figured. And she's like, but we have lockdown drills. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? We never had those. And she was like, what? You never had those? The same response that my friend's stepdaughter did. When we said, I was like, hey, we never had lockdown drills. And she's like, what?
I remember lockdown drill.
You did?
Yeah, I remember. Somebody would walk around, knock on the doors.
I don't remember that
and then we got the all clear. But the thing was, like, we knew about it.
Yeah.
There was no, like, surprise lockdown.
Okay, now, do you remember it all the time or just, like, at a specific time? Because I remember it maybe, like...
It was... I know for sure once.
Yeah, I can at least remember once post 9/11, but, like...
It was, I want to say it was middle school, for sure.
That sounds about...
It was probably post 9/11, too, because that was my 6th grade year.
Yeah, but...
I do remember, and then somebody walking down... For sure in the main building at Flamson, the big building... I remember somebody walking down and then tugging on the doors, and everybody's like against the wall, away from the door, kind of thing, out of view.
Now, like, I know, and I remember when that started becoming a thing, people were like a little outraged. People were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe kids are going through this and stuff." But I know me and you have had a conversation about like being in a bubble, you know, where we live, and you kind of drown out the outside world for a little bit. But I mean, our county is generally pretty like low key.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of other places in the nation, I'm sure it's probably more of a regular thing, and they're just like, yeah, we've had those before and all what.
Oh yeah, you go to LA and you're like, how many deaths, shootings, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean
somebody got shot in the face last week.
It's horrible either way, but you know, like it's just the amount of outrage really kind of shows sometimes where you're living at that time, or you know, so
we're blessed here in Paso Robles.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, but the thing is that teachers almost kind of seem a little like they're definitely understaffed. I mean, all these other things they're having to take up.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you really want to look into it, there's a lot of stuff that went downhill, like starting like years ago.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's like the compensation or pension, I don't know.
There's a bunch.
I know there's definitely. I saw a video where somebody was talking about how like they gradually started adding more and more responsibilities to the teacher, but at the same time there was like this weird like pay cuts or some kind of bunch of cuts. And it's just they're pretty much asking them to be like all this
or
and more
like nothing.
For pretty much almost nothing,
yeah.
Or at least their starting wages, even though they've been promised or something along the lines of more in the future, and nothing's happened. And I have a friend who's a teacher, and he was explaining a little bit about like the most recent, because of the school shootings.
Yeah,
so he like, we had to practice this and that, and like they told us like, we don't have like guns or anything, but they told us like, anything you can think of as a weapon, make sure you use it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna have to fight for the kids. He's like, what? Like he the way he explained it was like he didn't become a teacher. When he became a teacher, he never thought it'd come to that.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
I'm sure a lot of them didn't sign up for that, and now it's expected of them.
Yeah. And so now every teacher is gonna have to have like a physical requirement of like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a martial artist or something.
Yeah, which is they should be compensated for that because it's ridiculous, and sometimes not even. It's also sometimes you have to deal with a lot of asshole kids.
Yeah, there was
and I mean, and you see it. Sometimes you'll be searching social media and you'll see like some videos of them doing some prank on them, but like online, so you could see it, and it's like, damn, like.
I know. I saw this video where like the teacher was asking something along the lines of something 47. What comes before 47? And the kid gets up and puts his backpack on the deck, like AK or whatever. And they did obviously as a joke because only like 2 kids. Right?
Yeah.
But I was just like, what the?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah, I know. And
go like do some spitballs at the teacher, like paper spitballs.
Yeah, do that.
Don't threaten people with
like write a dick on the message board, like we all, you know, like some people
with permanent marker,
and then just do that and call it a day. But like
pretending to have a gun and you get shot. Oh, whose fault was that? They didn't check his backpack.
Yeah,
it's like those toy guns that have only the orange tip to let people know in public that it's a toy gun or something,
right?
Even though all you can do is like either spray paint.
I was saying a lot of people spray paint anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Or snap it off, and you kids running around with what looks like to be a real gun.
Yeah.
You know, or give them Nerf guns. Those are always popular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Easily taken away, but
The one thing I never understood about Nerf guns, like, you're shooting everything, right?
yeah.
Right. Especially with the kids, and you're trying to keep them clean and stuff like that. But like, let's say they're shooting, and then they go pick them off the ground, put them back in the gun. They're shooting, pick them off the ground, put them back in the gun. At what point do they watch their hands? Because like the bullets are touching everywhere. And in my head, I'm like, you've been walking on the dirty floor, and now you're picking. I don't know. It's just one of those.
Do you have a like? Are you a germaphobe? Would you consider yourself a germaphobe?
No, but I think about it.
You think about
like I'm okay picking stuff off the ground if it falls or something like that.
Right.
But like it makes me think like there's TV shows I watch, and let's say there's this lawyer show I'm watching, Suits, right? Suits. It's on Amazon Prime, and
we get compensated for that.
For some reason, there's a lot of like bathroom scenes where the like one's like trying to use the urinal or whatever, and it's like, how dare you take over that case, you know? And then they have a conversation. They have a quips back and forth.
First
like
of all,
that. And then
having a conversation in the urinal.
I never understood that.
Well, that's
it's happened in real life to me. Like I'll be at the urinal and like at the theater, and like a customer comes in. So, what do you think about that movie? Why did my butt clench?
There's supposed to be a guide code for using a urinal.
I guess there's not when it comes to when you work there. But there's a lot of scenes in like shows. There's a lot of scenes. There's a lot of scenes in TV shows and movies where like they walk in and out of the restroom after using it without washing their hands.
Oh, that bothers me.
Or they do wash their hands. It's usually a very mild splash, and you don't see them go for soap. They just and then get towels, and it's like, all right, Bill, I'll see you later. Whatever the conversation ends. And so that's where the thought comes in mind. It's like you see these Nerf, guns being shot around everywhere. And I'm like, so you're telling me if it falls in the trash can, you're going to go pick it up and put it back in the gun?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Trash can's dirty. I'm just saying. So wash your hands after the Nerf gun war. Especially now with COVID, I definitely think about it more. For sure.
Yeah. Oh. No, yeah. I personally never thought about that way.
Oh, let me open your eyes to a lot of things later on.
But the whole thing about on TV, whenever they like do quick, I'm like, you didn't wash your hands. That's bothering me.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna go.
And the towel dispenser
eat
magically
my dinner at the diner.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the?
And the towel dispenser magically works perfectly, which we all know that never happens.
Oh yeah. Zzz, zzz,
Oh man.
Or like when somebody when they came out with those blow dryer hands, whatever, right? I was like, that's cool. That's so cool. And then I started thinking about it. So you have your hands full of water and dead germs that you just killed with soap and water, right? You put them in this blow dryer.
Oh, the down one?
Yeah, you put them in, right?
Yeah. And
air just... But you ever feel a trickle of water because it's being thrown everywhere?
Stand back, dude. No, stand close to me.
Germs are just being thrown everywhere.
Real quick, since you work at the theater, like
allegedly.
When I went out last week, like that was the first. Again, I don't go as much. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I saw like teenagers out in the wild, and I just aged myself by saying that.
Yeah,
but I know you see them a lot more. Mm-hmm. How do you see them compared to when we were teens? Are they about the same, or are you just like, God, they're annoying? But
it depends. There's some kids that you can kind of tell they're just not here to watch the movie. They're here to talk throughout the entire movie and just be not at the house.
Yeah.
And there's some that
I remember being that way too, like.
Yeah. Well, I never talked during the movie. I mean, I paid whatever money it cost back then to watch a movie. So,
right.
And
I would crack a joke, but I wouldn't like talk throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, back then also we didn't have cell phones so readily available as well.
There you
go.
And
that's a big problem at the movie theaters now.
Yeah. Huge.
People texting and having to take a picture of themselves in a dark room.
God.
Without the flash. Like you do realize you're like, oh, I'm at whatever Snapchat or whatever they're on right now. And It just depends. Some of them come in and they're like very respectful and stuff like that, and other ones come in and they're like all over the place, like not single file line, nothing. They haven't decided anything, not even the movie. What's playing?
You have a phone.
Yeah, that's a big one. You have a phone. But though it's like, what's playing? Oh, how much is everything? And you're just like, well, our large popcorns. You can definitely tell they're like not there to like have a good experience, or they're just to like wreak havoc a little bit. So it just depends, like the first 10 seconds of reading the room kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, these kids are gonna be we're at the tracking them, or if they already know what they want, and like they'll just say, yeah, can you get one for Finding Nemo, whatever the movie is, and they know, they get the ticket and they look at yeah, I'll take a large popcorn. Like you can definitely tell, all right, this kid's gonna be fine. They'll be fine. But there's definitely times where I see a group of kids come in, or at least for some reason it's mostly girls when this happens, and I know why. They come in, they buy a ticket, they go into the theater, right? 10 minutes into the movie, they leave. You know why? Because they told the parents to be at the movies, and they have a ticket stub to prove it. It's happened multiple times. There was one time this kid came up and said, yeah, do you guys have like a ticket that you guys are throwing away? Like, why?
Oh, he really just, man, cheap ass.
Yeah, I know, they didn't even want to spend the money. And he goes, I told my mom I was going to the theater and I didn't have a ticket. I forgot. They try to make some story up. Like, I threw away my ticket stub. I'm like, I haven't seen you all day, dude. Like, I don't know who you're talking to.
You're like, bitch, go watch a movie.
It's like, okay. I told him, like, 1, no, I'm not going to do that. 2, I know why. And 3, he's like, I don't want a parent coming in and saying, hey, my kid, where's my kid?
Yeah.
He said he'd be at the movies. And then you have a ticket stub for, like, earlier in the day. Like, what?
Yeah, no, because then if
I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, they're going to be like, you saw this kid.
And there's parents that just drop off their kid at the front door and then, like, leave them there.
Yeah. And
like it's like they treat the theater as like a daycare almost. We'll be back in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah. Call me when it's done. Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, we'll happily take the money, but at the same time, it's like I really feel more comfortable when parents go to the movies with the kids, or at least one, and then be a lot better, That way, if they are being noisy, I'll be like talking to the parent instead.
Yeah.
Because it always gets a little messy when we're talking to like the kids. And it's like, hey, no, hey,
shut the hell up,
put your feet down. Hey, no talking, no cell phones, all that stuff. And for some reason, like you walk away, they think like there's no consequence, and then eventually I just kick them out.
Lay down the law.
There's one thing I learned a long time ago. It's heartbreaking for them when you say you can never come back to the theater. Holy shit. The look on their face.
Does it feel good?
I've only done that once.
Did it feel good?
Yes and no.
Okay.
No, because customer service, like, I don't want to tell people that.
Yeah.
That's my customer service. Yes. And the fact like they deserved it, kind of thing. I don't say it lightly, kind of thing. Don't ever come back.
Yeah.
And I'll look at the camera and take a screenshot of it, and like and I tell my managers, don't let these kids back in.
Yeah.
Ever. Period.
Now, do we
remember? No, we don't have a wall of shame. Do they come back? I don't know. They take it as like they know us already.
Right, yeah.
When you walk through the Target camera, whatever, when you walk in and you see above you and you see the camera, like you're on camera, smile, whatever.
Yeah.
You think there's a person watching every single person go through that door at this moment. They know my face. But the reality is like, it's just recording.
It's just recording, yeah, I know. That's fine.
But yeah, no, kicking a kid out, sometimes it's like bittersweet.
Right.
You don't want to do it.
But when they're being really bad, you're just like,
boy, does it feel good on that busy day.
Oh, I bet.
I remember I had managers. It's like, can I do it? Sure. There are the kids in the back row, blah, 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 blah. All right. Comes in. Comes out like, just took a piss,
Yeah.
All right. So that's
all the time we have today.
I wish we had like a kid's voice, whatever, like kid's character voice. All right, kids. See you later.
Oh, like Blippi.
We can
update these. We just haven't But
oh yeah, no, that's way down the line. I'm just saying, like, as a joke, because since we're two dads ending a show, the only way we know we should, the only way we like right now make the connection of ending a show is like BLI.
Oh, right now,
PPI. Shout out to Blippi. Imposter, get the hell out of the show.
Yeah, no, we like the original. But before we end the show, like we always do, email us at twodadsinaPod@gmail.com.
That's TWO. Dads in a Pod.
Yeah, there you go. I messed that up.
You already finished it. Figure out the rest.
Also, don't forget, we also have a YouTube. We're on YouTube now. So, yes, we're going to be one of those people saying, like and subscribe. We love that.
Like and subscribe. Share with your friends.
And all that.
Don't share it with kids because we did talk about drugs and cursed. So,
well, that's up to you if you decide to do it or not. But
yeah.
We'd love to hear from you. Suggestions, comments, stories. I don't know.
If you have complaints, keep them to yourself. Tired of this shit. You can definitely tell it's like my career. Fuck. Anyway, bye.
Later.